What's going on, guys? This is Patch from 1878 Casuals, back with a familiar face, my pops, longtime United supporter. Now, I know you grew up in Boston, England, Lincolnshire, right?
Yes.
What made you become a United fan?
You know what? I don't know that I really remember. I mean, I remember seeing him on the telly and watching Georgie Best and Bobby Charlton and Dennis Law, as I said before, and just gravitated towards him. Yeah, because we had our own team in Boston, which are minor league team, not very good. So you always support your hometown team as well. But Manchester United was one I went towards.
So, and how did it work? Because your brother Ian is a Spurs fan.
He's a Spurs fan, yeah.
How did that work?
It's all right. I mean, he's not anywhere near as committed as I am. I mean, he's a fair weather fan, as we say.
Right.
So.
All right. And favorite United player of all time?
Oh, wow, that's a tough one. Well, Georgie Best was magic. Rooney, you gotta love Rooney. Guy. But one I liked who was, I didn't like before he joined was Robin van Persie.
Oh yeah.
That guy could score goals. He was something else.
Won us number 20.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I like Van Persie. Hated him when he was at the Gooners.
Yeah.
But because he was a Gooner.
Yeah.
But no, I love that guy.
Yeah, he was class.
Yeah.
First United match you ever went to?
First and only.
Mm-hmm.
Leicester City.
Okay.
Filbert Street. Yeah. Remember standing down. I was probably 7 years old, 8 years old, something like that. I could barely see the pitch, but I still remember Bobby Charlton running by, and yeah, that was
awesome.
Yeah, that was so that was 1962, maybe something like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Only time I ever got to see that kind of match.
Did you ever go on any away games or anything like that, or
Nope.
No away games?
No. We didn't have any money.
Mm-hmm.
We couldn't do any of that stuff.
Right.
Okay. I could walk to Boston United's ground because it was just up the street, but that's about. I went there a lot of weeks, but no good teams ever came to Boston United.
Okay. Most despised club and player?
Oh. It's got to be the Scousers, right?
Yeah.
Player. Oh, jeez. I have a bit of a hard time with that because even though they're playing on the other team, if they're a great player, I'll acknowledge that.
Right.
Steven Gerrard. But he's a great player, no question about it. And similarly, several of them. Again, Van Persie when he was at Arsenal.
Yeah.
I thought, man, he's a good player. There's no denying it. Frank Lampard, John Terry, Yeah.
I mean the racist center half.
Yeah, yeah, that one. Yeah.
Feelings on the new boss.
Well, so far so good, right? He's appears to be doing the right things and appears to have gotten the attention of the boardroom. Mm-hmm. Finally.
Yeah.
And they appear to be sort of doing the right thing. Again, early days, like we said the other day.
Yeah.
But too soon to tell, probably. But looks that way, and it appears to be able to pick some decent players.
Yeah, it's finally feeling like our squad is not just a mashup of players that are good players. Not only good players, but fit to a particular system. So it's like, we're not buying all these, fancy glittery puzzle pieces that don't fit into the puzzle.
Right.
I feel like every signing that Ten Hag has wanted has been pretty bang on. And I feel like, the turning point was after the Brentford game where he canceled their off day and had them come in and run the extra 13
miles
or something
what was
like
it, kilometers? I forget. Anyway, whatever.
And he joined them in doing that.
Yeah, sure.
And I feel like perhaps that was kind of a turning point to kind of like let them know that he was accountable as well.
Yeah.
And
watching the game on whatever it was, Sunday, was it?
Yeah.
And to a degree against Liverpool, I felt like, wow, we kind of look like a team.
Yeah.
Not a bunch of individuals running around.
Exactly.
You know, and there seemed to be some camaraderie and some essence of team spirit. And I tell you that I think Ericsson is probably the smartest buy. Well, not a buy; it's a free.
Yeah, yeah.
So he was always. That's another one of those players in another team. You know, great player at Spurs.
Yeah.
You know, great player. Guy could make things happen.
Yeah. No, I mean
that's what he's doing now.
I mean,
and him and Ericsson together.
Bruno, you mean?
No, not Ericsson. Fernandes.
Fernandes, yeah.
Could be pretty good.
They're pretty nasty.
Yeah, they can make the ball do different things.
I mean, how'd you like that outside of the foot pass from Fernandes to Rashford?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, that's.
Yep.
I feel like, you know, you don't even have to say anything. You just see these players start to kick on, and you're like, okay,
yeah,
they've turned a corner.
Yep.
I mean, Rashford, 2 goals and an assist.
Yeah.
Against Arsenal.
He's finally got his head back in the game.
Yeah, he does.
It would seem.
Yeah, and because you feel for the guy, because I you know, you love Marcus Rashford, you know, Manchester born and bred, from Wythenshawe.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And
but they're playing him as a centre forward, and he's not a centre forward.
Right.
You know, he's a winger or a sort of winger sort of thing that likes to cut in.
Yeah.
And you know, so but you know, hey, he scored 2 goals. Great.
Yeah.
Great. Yeah.
Well, you know, and you got to think like he had proper service.
Yeah.
And then he was able to utilize his speed.
Yeah.
But yeah, you know, I'm in the same boat. I was like, you know, Rashford's not a center forward. Why are we starting him as a center forward? But, you know, I suppose in, you know, certain games like the Arsenal game, for instance, like, you know, he was going to need to use his pace. And if he could only, you know, get his control on the ball and stuff when he got those passes, that he would be able to, because we know the kid can finish.
Oh, yeah.
So,
absolutely.
You know, I mean, obviously his second goal was a tap in.
Yeah.
But that first goal that he scored was, he still had a bit of work to do, and he was able to do it. So.
Yeah. Who I forget who. Obviously, Ericsson passed it over to him, but who was it? A Bruno through ball to Ericsson to get him going? I forget.
It was Ronaldo.
Was it Ronaldo?
It was Ronaldo.
Okay.
Going in for the challenge, giving it to, and he sort of like kind of tapped it to Fernandes, and Fernandes passed it through to Ericsson.
Okay.
Ericsson and Rashi were 2-on-1 with the keeper.
Yeah.
And then that was a wrap.
Yeah, that was a wrap indeed.
And
I was surprised, you know. I thought we might nick it, but I thought we would nick it, not take it 3-1.
Yeah.
You know, so I was happily surprised.
Speaking of that, how'd you reckon Anthony on his debut?
Did good. You know, he's a bit of a showman.
Yeah. Echoes of Ronaldo.
Echoes of Ronaldo. I was thinking that.
Which is perhaps encouraging.
Not a bad thing.
I mean, because look what Ronaldo went on to do.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And then I saw Gary Neville said, you know, he's got to cool it with the showboating, otherwise he's just going to get kicked up and down the pitch.
Yeah, right.
Which is going to happen.
Well, I think Gary Neville said, if I was on the pitch, I would have kicked him.
Yeah.
So, you know.
There you go.
So, you know. But he's 22, so, you know, the showboating thing comes naturally due to Ronaldo, like you said.
Yeah.
And hopefully they'll get him to calm that down a little bit.
Yeah.
But as he grows into it, you know, that should happen.
Yeah, and you know, clearly he's got skill on the ball.
Yeah.
He can make stuff happen. I mean,
lovely goal.
Most people would have probably went near post.
Yep. But I love the way he just opened his body and side-footed it into the far corner.
You could tell that was what he was going to do as he was running onto it, because he kind of like ran past the ball a little bit. You know, you could see it.
Yeah.
And it was a beautiful goal. And I was so happy for him because...
And the build-up was something else, too.
Every single United player touched the ball in that build-up.
Yeah.
That's I think that just exemplifies Ten Hag ball.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, sure.
And sort of that unity and stuff like that. But I loved it because, you know, Anthony, obviously, he may not have gone about it the best way in trying to get his transfer.
Right.
But the fact that he really wanted to come here...
Yeah, and it makes a huge difference.
It does, and
you know, you look at something like the De Jong fiasco.
Yeah,
you know, the guy clearly did not want to come.
Yeah,
well, we don't need any more like that.
Yeah,
you know,
we've been burned by that. I feel like 17 years of getting burned by that. You figure like we'd learn.
Yeah,
But it was also a desperation thing. We were screaming out for good players, and stuff like that.
Yeah,
so it's just kind of.
I'll tell you another thing that's caught my attention too is the fact that Pogba's not there anymore.
Yeah.
Loping around the pitch, doing not much.
Yeah. I would have taken Eriksen. I would have paid 80 million for Eriksen and fucked off Pogba.
Yeah.
That was the.
Yeah. Enough of that guy. He's got great potential. He can do great things. Well, okay. I haven't seen him do it yet.
Right. Yeah. That's kind of the thing.
Yeah.
Let's see. Well, I was going to ask the best 11 you ever seen in person, but it was just that one game.
In person, that was the only game. Yeah.
It's not a bad game to go to see Dennis Law,
No.
Bobby Charlton, Georgie Best do their thing.
Yeah. No, it was memorable.
You said it was like 1962?
Had to be 62. Yeah, I was 7 or 8, something like that. So I was born in 55, so 62, 63, somewhere in there.
Okay.
Something like that.
All right, cool.
Well, maybe I was older. I don't remember. Maybe I was a bit older. Maybe I was a bit older. I'd have to look it up.
It's been a minute.
It's been a minute or two.
And maybe the final question: how do you think United will do this season? Because Liverpool are playing like shit.
Yeah.
Chelsea are playing like shit.
Yeah.
City are playing okay.
Yeah. Well, there's the thing too. They drew Aston Villa.
Yeah.
Whoa.
They almost lost too.
Yeah, I would have said, well, that was 6-0 thumping in the making.
Right.
And I go, oh, well, what happened there? So maybe they are a little bit vulnerable, perhaps.
Yeah.
Spurs will do what Spurs always do.
Yeah. Spurs will do Spurs
I think
things.
Brighton may fade, although they're. Well, here's the thing I've noticed, or I've come to the conclusion about in recent years, the promoted teams don't appear to be scared at all.
Right.
Which it used to be, at least in my mind, they got promoted and they were a little tentative because we're in the big show now.
Yeah.
I don't see that anymore. They come up, we can win this thing.
Yeah, that's the thing, and it almost feels
Brighton's
like
case in point.
Yeah, Brighton and I feel like Brentford were doing all right.
Yeah.
Too.
Brentford,
but,
Wolves.
Yeah, well, the Wolves have fallen a bit. They sold a couple of their players and stuff.
They did.
Although I did just see that they were going to get Diego Costa.
I know. I read that. I go, oh, really?
Because
he's only he's 33, so he's not quite past it. But
yeah, well, they had their.
He was a menacing presence. He always was. He was very intimidating.
He's a little shit stirrer, that guy.
Oh, he is, absolutely.
He's 33, but he looks like he's 53.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah. So I mean, if we keep playing like this, I mean, it's not like we've played any minnows. Like Arsenal, I was like, well, Arsenal were top of the league.
We beat Arsenal.
Yeah, then Arsenal were top of the league because they hadn't played anyone yet.
Yeah.
And not that necessarily, no disrespect to any of the other teams,
No.
because they all put in good shifts against them and stuff.
Well, in the Premier League that on any given day, the best team in the league can lose to the worst team in the league.
Yeah.
On any given day that can happen.
Yeah.
We've seen it time and time again.
I think that's one of the best things about European footy is that relegation fights and title challenge fights. It's a totally different thing. People have something to lose.
Yeah, they do.
You know what I mean?
Something to gain.
And something to gain, yeah.
Yeah,
So you're going to see more fights at it, as opposed to just, American sports and stuff like that. Like, there's no lower leagues that you can get relegated to. So it's like, well, better luck next year with
Well, that's one of the reasons that I didn't like the idea of this European Super League.
Yeah.
Because it was just the top teams playing against each other.
Nobody's going to care.
Nobody's going to care. It's like going to watch... I don't know what it's like going to watch, but it would be pretty boring without the relegation promotion thing. That's my God, that's a big part of the whole thing of watching it.
Yeah.
How are they going to get relegated? Are they?
I mean, I remember when no, it wasn't last year, the year before, when we were playing Leicester and we had to win in order to make top four.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. And even though we weren't challenging for the title, it was like, that was a massive game.
Sure
so there's more opportunities for massive games spread out in the league, or you got, Villa and Leicester fighting the relegation battle and stuff. Like, that's some of the...
Who'd have thought that a couple of years ago?
Yeah.
With Leicester, at least.
Yeah.
They may have... I guess there's a bit of turmoil. Well, ever since the owner was killed,
Yeah.
you know, it's been in turmoil. But yeah, they're because you know they've been a mid to lower level team for a lot of years, and then when they won the league there, however many years ago it was, with what's his name? Who was the boss? Ancelotti, was it?
Ranieri.
Was it Ranieri?
Claudio Ranieri.
Ranieri?
Yeah,
okay, yeah, when they won with him, you know, that was a little different.
Yeah, and it kind of seems like that season there were no teams playing really well.
Right.
And so they won the league. So it makes you think that we're playing really well now,
yeah,
and all these other teams aren't playing particularly well. Where do you think, we will finish?
I think we can do top 4.
I think we can do top 4.
But we got to keep playing like this.
Yes.
Obviously.
Yeah.
We don't need to go to sleep like we have done in the past.
Yeah.
You know, in the last few years.
Yeah.
We can certainly do top 4. What are we now? 5th?
We're 5th, yeah.
We can do top. And what are we, 3 points from first place?
3 points from first, yeah.
It's one game.
Yeah.
We can do top 4 for sure.
Yeah.
But, got to be on our best behavior.
Yeah. Reminder, we're playing well. We've beaten some big teams, but as I've said in many videos before, don't let that distract you from the fact that the fucking leeches at the top are still doing their thing. So, obviously.
Well, did you read I guess they put a $3.5 billion price tag on it?
Yeah.
I guess.
Jim Ratcliffe, where are you, lad? Let's go. Let's have it.
That's right.
And then I also heard that Lewis Hamilton, the F1 driver,
might jump into the fray. He tried to get in a Chelsea deal, I guess.
Okay.
And didn't get part of that.
Okay.
He wants to own a team in some form.
Okay.
So.
Because I had heard that there was some Dubai group interested in United, and I was like, no, I don't want you.
No.
We don't want you.
Yeah,
we want Ratcliffe, Manchester born and bred.
That's right.
Loves the team, know what it means for the city and the people.
Yeah.
Doesn't need to make any money off the team.
No, he doesn't.
He makes plenty.
Well, of course, he has a link with Hamilton.
Okay.
Because Ineos, his chemical company, is part sponsor of the Mercedes F1 team.
Okay.
So he's got a link with him. So that explains that tie up there.
Okay, good. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'm all for it. Hamilton and Ratcliffe in. Glazers out.
We'll see.
Yeah. We got Palace on Sunday, I think, at 8:30.
Well, we got Real Sociedad on Thursday.
Sociedad
right?
on Thursday.
At home.
At home.
Not too concerned about that, frankly.
Yeah.
I mean, if we get knocked out of that league, fine.
Play some of the kids, focus on the Premier League, I think.
Exactly. Focus on the Premier League. Palace on Sunday?
Sunday.
At home or where?
I think it's at home, but
Okay.
I could be mistaken.
Dangerous team.
They are.
Dangerous team. Patrick Vieira's got them going.
Yeah.
And Zaha is always dangerous.
Yeah.
Always. So, got to be on top form there.
Yeah.
Like we said earlier, any team can beat you on any given day.
Yeah. Got to have Martinez and Varane and the resurgence of Delo, dare I say.
Yeah.
And Malacia. I mean, our back line is
Back line's looking really good. Harry Maguire's going to have a hard time getting back in the team.
Yeah. Someone joked the other day that when he got subbed on, they made a meme that said, "Oh, they had to pause the game because a fan in the United kid ran onto the pitch." I was like, I know a lot of people hate on Harry Maguire, and I obviously don't blame him, but you just gotta feel bad for the guy.
Yeah, you do. You
know what I mean?
Yeah,
but at the same time, mate, if you played with a little more awareness and things like that, this would not have happened.
No, this is true.
And Casey Gale, Madface, shout out to Casey Gale, said, something happened in Greece.
Yeah.
We need to know what happened in Greece.
That's right.
Because he hasn't been the same after that.
That's right.
Kind of like De Gea after the World Cup.
That's right.
He had a switch flipped after the World Cup.
That's right. That's
so,
right.
But I don't know. We'll see. All right, Palace on Sunday, Sociedad on Thursday.
Prediction?
Sociedad, I think we can...
No, Palace.
Oh, Palace. Well, I feel like, Palace will probably get a sniff at goal, maybe even put one.
Yeah.
Maybe a 2-1, 3-1.
That's kind of what I'm thinking. Kind of what I'm thinking.
And providing all the boys can stay fit, and Ten Hag has.
Any word on the Rashford injury? I mean, he was subbed off with looked like a bit of a hammy issue.
I haven't heard anything.
Right.
I know Martinez had a slight little niggle, but I don't think it's too serious.
he's impressive. I like that
Martinez,
guy.
yeah.
I
Well,
like that guy.
I like Martinez and I like Anthony together.
Yeah.
Because obviously they played at Ajax together, but they have that South American fire.
Yeah, they sure
that
do.
aggression.
They
And,
sure
and
do.
we need players
And Martinez,
like
I mean, I watched him a couple of times. He walked away from tackles that were hard tackles, you know, that he won, and he didn't look back. He just he didn't concern about the other guy at all.
Well, my favorite one was when he put Mo Salah on his ass.
Yeah.
And then Mo Salah got up and he just walked by and nudged him, and he was just like, "What?" You know, that sort of like mentality.
Yeah.
Those are the kind of characters we need.
Yeah.
And you know, that's who we had obviously when we had Cantona with Roy Keane.
Yep.
You know, all those guys. Vidic. Yeah, they were just hard men.
And Rio too.
Rio, yeah. So, I'm excited to see what they do.
And Scholesy.
I mean, that whole squad.
Not a tougher tackler ever, probably.
Yeah.
You know, he'd take you out.
Yeah, I love it. Love to see it.
Yeah.
All right, boys. That's it for the video. Be sure to like and subscribe to the channel. Follow us on Instagram at 1878 Casuals. We will be at O'Brien's Pub on Sunday to watch the Palace game. Final thoughts?
Well, you know, happy we're doing well. It looks like I said earlier, it looks like a team finally again to some degree, and hopefully we can keep it going.
Let's keep it going. Up the Reds, Ratcliffe in, Glazers out.